Alright, part 5 and probably final part. So for all the creatures, they all have movements. So flea movements, pretty simple. It's just really, I didn't implement any speed changes, but if I were, they would be on the movements. And so, since the offsets are based on the grid size and the frame count, you could change the frame count, and that would make it go faster while still checking everything. So for like the flea, all you're doing checking for bottom screen and if it can spawn, so like if it's not hit, and the spawn probability, then it creates a mushroom in that place. And it's created through a factory. Doesn't create overlapping mushrooms because the mushroom grid doesn't allow it to. It checks if it's already null. And so it's a flea, and so the scorpion and my spider are on state systems. Scorpion's real simple, it's either move left or move right, and so you can check, all it has to do is check if there's a mushroom, and then check the left side of the screen to destroy it, and so then it poisons. Here's the update. This gets the movement, just like the centipede. And then, like I said, it checks. The mushroom doesn't do any collisions or anything. And so the spider is also on a state machine. And it's going to do the same thing, get the movement. And for each one, they just set the movements and then decides which one to go. So this is more random. And it changes, right now it changes at like each boundary and everything. So they're all created through their factories for Singleton and have a pool. And then they're all created through my creature spawner. And so what it does is it loads in the wave data from the wave generator, and then the wave generator calls which functions and which to spawn. And so if there's already it has pointers for each one, and that's so that it can tell if there's already a creature on there, it's not going to spawn another one. So if the pointer is equal to 0, then it's gonna not spawn another one. And then it has onDestroy functions, which then set that specific creature back to 0, the pointer back to 0, so it knows that it's able to spawn another one. And then for the centipede head, it has a stack, and basically that helps keep track of how many, but it also has a integer that does that. And then so with the wave manager, let's just do that. So the wave manager is a singleton, and it reads from a text and can set for each wave, and it's read through the wave data reader, and so the wave data is just a struct with everything in it, and then it's read through the wave data reader, and that was basically so I can store kind of like the text and file stuff in this and keep it separate from the wave manager. That was kind of organization to keep a wave manager less cluttered, so it doesn't have to deal with all the file stuff and file opening, or like, you know, file reading and everything. So when it's constructed, it reads the file once, and then stores it and loads it in the struct, and then the struct is passed through the function and loaded in. So yeah, and then so if like someone messes it up or it's switched or something, when you run the game, you're gonna see an error on the high score and the line number where that error occurred. And so that won't go away, but it allows you to still play the game, but it lets the game designers know that, oh hey, we messed up. And it should be +1. Alright, there we go. And so if you switch one, or something will happen and it'll crash. Alright. Alright. And so yeah, the wave manager so sets the alarm, or sets the spawn rate for the spider and the scorpion. The flea is on the mushroom field when it checks on a mushroom death if there's less than 5. And so it's gonna start the wave. Start the wave. You know, if they're present, it's gonna start the alarm for the spawn, and then it's gonna spawn the centipede heads, and then spawn the centipede, and then the creature spawner keeps track of all of the active centipede heads, and so when they're all done, less than or equal to 0, it's going to end the wave of the wave manager. And so what that does is it then changes the wave, which means it sets the next wave from the wave data and then says hi. And oh man. And so like this wave data is an array with a total amount of waves, and so it's gonna set on a change wave, it's gonna cancel all the alarms, set the wave to the next one, put it in the creature spawner, and it's gonna start again. And then though, what happens if a player is destroyed? Go to the game manager. So if a player is destroyed, it's gonna call the wave manager life loss, and that will stop the wave. And so stopping the wave basically just calls to the creature spawner, cancels the alarms, and calls to the creature spawner and go like, hey, recall all of the so if there are creatures out, recall them all. And so it'll go through like the centipede head stack and everything, and then reset. Yeah. And then once that's done, that's when it begins the repair, and then it checks the number of lives, and it then if there are more to lose, it subtracts it, and then it says to the wave manager, sets the alarm to give like the pause, and so on the third one, then it's going to respawn the blaster and then restart the wave. So those are the two tracks that it does. And then for the player profile, it's my users, which you already seen. I told you it has a base class and two and then so each user has a wave number, its score, its life, then it has a mushroom grid, a blaster, and these are for the display. And those own it. And so when it switches, so in the game manager, it's gonna switch to a tractor. It's gonna initialize a tractor, and so that's gonna create everything with the correct strategy and everything. But then the user manager, is gonna create the user AI, which has the user strategy blaster, and then create the display that doesn't update, and then sets the current user to that, and then it's going to start the wave. And then when you switch to the player one, it's going to, unfortunately I couldn't get it to like keep it, so I'd have to delete it. And then it's going to give a little delay, and then it's going to oh, it's my alarm object, that's right. Then it's gonna put the alarm object initialize one player, so then it's gonna initialize the real player. And yeah, I guess I got one more part and I'll be done. Alright.